Alright, hello, good morning everybody. We are returning to the Snapcaster Flame of Anor I don't know, strategy. There's like so many different builds we've tried of this deck. Some with like Murktide, some Jeskai. We had like a teamer one with Wilderness Reclamation that I thought was pretty cool. But I kind of wanted to kind of go back to the basics. Just play. We're just kind of like Blue Moon with no moons because moon sucks. I'm also like really much thinking that we want to be playing like a lot of these pitch cards fairly at the moment. Like Force of Negation is a card I've been liking. Without some number of subtleties, we're kind of low on win cons. There's just like so many moving factors. But after some hammering out, this is kind of where I'm at with the list at the moment, and I'm feeling relatively good about it. Also, Surveil lands are just pretty broken. I'm playing 3. I don't know that anybody else has the courage to play 3, but I'm playing 3 today. Usually when I'm up to like 20 lands, I like to play the breeding pool for the sideboard, pick your poison, splash in the main deck. When I'm playing like 18 in the Surveil deck, 17 Surveil deck, 19, I tend to like to have it in the sideboard. Today it's the main deck. Magus over Blood Moon, because we're not really bringing them in too many matchups besides Tron and Titan, and it's also a Wizard, which is like a pretty relevant upside in your Flame of Anor deck. No Darcy Monkey build, kind of wild. Do not, in my opinion, try to play the Wizard package if you're going to play DRC Ragavan, and also Bobble, because you have to play Bobble with DRC. Your curve is kind of just too low. There's like you want to be a slow control deck with Snapcaster Flame, and if you're playing DRC Ragavan, like how would you even do that? You know, it's like you got to have like 6 removal spells. Maybe 6 is kind of like bare minimum. Got to have some 1-mana cantrips. So we cut the Fire Ices in these, and then we have to find 4 more spots for Mishra's Bauble. Got the Tidebinders, and then your flames are a lot worse because you only have the Snapcasters. You got to get the curve. You got to get the curve lower. Ragavan also is not that good. I was actually pretty close to just playing Bauble in the main deck so that we could enable Delirium for Unholy Heat. I've done that before and thought it was like pretty reasonable, and I think it's even more reasonable with the Thundering Falls. I tried to find room for a couple Lorien. No, in my opinion, Lorien gets replaced by Thundering Falls. But obviously, if you disagree, you can make the changes. No Sleeping Fairy. Yes, if Sleep Curse Fairy is a bad card, I think I really strongly feel like you just should have put that card in your modern deck. Yeah, it's not like we're like lacking on blue cards to pitch, and I think I'm a big believer in Thundering Falls. You also just have like so much card advantage in the deck with like 4 Snap, 4 Iteration, 4 Flame. It's kind of like you're not flooding that often, and also the Thundering Falls too. Zaki, 18 months. Any chance of eventually revisiting Lutri? Yeah, maybe. Lutri's an interesting card. It really isn't that good. You know what I mean? It's fine, but the payoff is not quite there. Veer Spin, hearing the words Ragavan is not that good, still catching a surprise every once in a while. Yeah, Graveyard of Bolt for Snapcaster. Yeah, I mean, Ragavan is also not that bad, but it's like Ragavan is good against Living, really good against Living End and Tron, and kind of like just not incredible in any other matchup, and in several matchups even, like Yawgmoth, it is like actively your worst card. Okay, Surveilland, they get Mountain Cookbook, interesting. And they Madness of Blazing Root Wall into play. Wow, we're up against Hollow One for the first match of the day. It's probably not going to be a very good matchup. We'll see. I guess Flame of Anor is kind of good against like the card Hollow One. It's good against Rhinos if it hits. Yeah, I think it's good against Rhinos, but it's not like phenomenal against Rhinos, you know what I mean? Like it's really good turn 1 on the play, and then it's like fine on the draw, and then it's like awful top deck. It kind of quickly becomes a pretty dead card. It's somewhat high variance, but yeah, it is fine in that matchup for sure. Like it's very good against Tron, Living End. It is a solid card in several matchups too. Ooh, Fiery Temper, what the fuck? a fine card in several matchups, but it's also like actively your worst card in several matchups. Very polarizing card. Archon with the 1 year. Thank you. Welcome back. Hope you're doing well. And then they cycle Street Wraith, which is kind of odd sequencing, I guess. Second food token. Cast a hollow one. Let's counterspell their 1 mana hollow one. Ragavan's weird because it's so necessary in Ragavan Mirrors. That makes sense. It doesn't actually make sense to me. I think we're like there's 2 main decks that play Ragavan, right? There's Rakdos Scam and there's Izzet Murktide. You usually will board out your Ragavans against the Scam deck, right, where they have the Bowmasters. And I agree. In the Murktide Mirror, Ragavan is a good card, but I don't feel like it's the case for all Ragavan decks that you want to have them in against. Is it Wizards or is it not? Find out today, I guess. So another Street Wraith. Back when Murktide was everywhere, yeah. Does Zeus to run it? Yeah, Zeus plays it. Like, Ragavan is still a playable card, but it's also like kind of not a card you want in your control deck, and yeah, okay, not a card we're playing today. I think I'm gonna go Snap Bolt the Inti in the beginning of combat step. I'll have the land card for you tomorrow. Dingo reached out. Cool. We'll figure it out. Did I already brew an Undergrowth Recon? I started to build a deck with Undergrowth Recon in it, and I was having a really hard time playing, like, so I wanted to play, like, an Urza Saga deck with Sunken Citadel and 8 fields. And I was having a really hard time, like, getting any fetch lands in that deck, because that's like 16 lands, and you probably have, like, 8 basic forest, and that's, like, 24 lands, and then just like getting basics to getting fetch lands in your Undergrowth Recon deck, or at least that build was really tough for me. So I ended up getting kind of stuck on it, but it is still a card that I would consider trying to build around. I could maybe have Tidebinder the Cookbook. I think seeing the Vengevine, I'd probably just rather Tidebinder the Vengevine trigger. We'll see. I say Ragavan is $20 good, not $40 good. Prices on Magic cards are an illusion, and you either should put a Magic card in your deck to make it optimal, or you shouldn't put a Magic card in your deck to make it optimal. And there's no in between. Are the SNC pseudo fetches for basics with Recon 2 goofy, since they don't require tapping? It doesn't seem like it really accomplishes much, right? To try to play that way, where either you return a fetch land at tapped, and it hold on. I guess we'll wait on this iteration. You return a fetch land tapped, and you can make it untapped next turn, or you can return the SNC fetch, and then it'll just put a land into tapped, and you'll use it next turn either. So just kind of the same both ways. Pika, tier 1, think welcome back. Yeah, the Hollow One strategies are pretty cool. My opponent is discarding an Ox of Agonis, which is going to get counterspelled if they escape it, when they escape it. So they're not escaping it now, because doing so would cause them to exile one of their Vengevines. Thank you, Pikajuice. Recent Commander Defector. Commander's very fun. Welcome, welcome. The idea is one SNCC to fetch is enough for you to recon every turn, but you don't have basics anyway. But yeah, but one regular fetch land is also enough for you to recon every turn. I'll kind of circle back to it. All right. It's maybe okay to like run out Tidebinder into turn, just start getting a clock in, kind of in garbage time. One regular fetch doesn't work since it enters tapped. Oh, I see. Because then the next trigger, it's like every other turn. Gotcha. Okay, let's just go ahead and Tidebinder this. Time welcome. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I can Subtlety the Ox. Just totally forgot about the Ox for a second. It literally slipped my mind for 1 second. Should be okay though. They also, I think, messed up when they cast their Flame-Blade Adept. You're probably just supposed to hold this and try to draw another creature. Or like land for Ox, maybe. They put it on top, which is good for me because they can't escape it. Shouldn't be that good for them. So knowing that they're just drawing a dead card, I can go Snap Iteration. Yeah, I'm still not sure what I'm playing this weekend, but still have some time to figure it out. There's a Flame of Anor. A Blue Moon deck with the Izzet package. Do you think a Blue Moon deck with the Wizards package would be decent? That is what I'm playing right now. I don't have any moons in the main deck, but you should also not main deck Blood Moon in Modern right now. It's not a main deck Blood Moon format, so that's literally what we're playing right now. And I do think it would be decent. Ooh, could Snap Flame again. Garbage time. Guess close to Snap bolting them out of it too. Remember my opponent just discarded their Ox of Agonis? So they gain 6, they take 6, they're basically at 9. I guess we'll just Snap the Flame then. With Rhinos being Domain and Zua's Long with Time being a top deck, don't you think Moon is main deckable? Blood Moon is not good against the Domain Zoo deck, because if they have one Leyline in the basic land, your Blood Moon does nothing. It's very easy for them to play around it. Obviously, they won't have Leyline every game, but they'll have it, you know. It's kind of tough to say exactly the percentage, since they mulligan kind of aggressively in those decks, and you have it in 40% of any hand you see. Do they have it more than 50% of the time? I don't know. Rhinos is also a Force of Negation deck, but it's a very high variance card in those matchups. You're dead. Yeah, but I also agree. Blood Moon is good against Titan. There's basically not a lot of Titan in the leagues though. I haven't played against any Titan decks this week. Okay, up a game against Hollow One. Withdrawal for the next sideboard game. Force of Negations against Goblin Lore Burning Inquiry seem okay. The Explosives seem likely pretty good. Good against Asmo. Have a good number of ones. I guess it's bad against their Hollow Ones and Vengeful Engine Oxes. Kills Cookbook. Kills Asmo. Kills one drop. Maybe we don't play 3 Explosives though. Does Leyline make Blood Moon not kind of work? So does Leyline make Blood Moon kind of not work? So Blood Moon usually beats Leyline or turns all the basic non-basics into mountains. But if they have one basic land, they still have full domain, can cast Leyline Binding, can cast Scion, can oftentimes, like in Domain Zoo, if they have one basic land and a leyline, they can cast every single spell. Right? I can't think of a single spell that's uncastable, and not only uncastable, but gives them full domain, which is tough. And then Blood Moon's not good against Murktide, it's not good against Yogg, it's not good against Rakdos. This is not a main deck Moon format. Stern Scolding counters Ox. This is a tough sideboard plan. I think I don't like these Fire Ices a ton. I think I want to trim. Don't have a lot of time to be preordaining too. I think the Scoldings are good. Maybe I'll go down to 2 Fire Ice and then play 2 Force of Negation still. Thoughts on the new free spell cycle cost compared to the pitch cost of what made sheds? I just have to see the fucking cards, you know what I mean? I think that mechanics are just not that important. I think every single Magic card is its own individual thing. You know, pitching a card to cast, sacrificing a card to cast. I just need to know the text on the card to evaluate it. I cannot give you an opinion on the full cycle yet. I think the green one is very good. I think that card is incredibly good. We'll see. I don't know how good the rest of them are going to be because I haven't seen them, you know. It's just kind of that simple for me. Pick your poison for Saga Cookbook Hollow. And the problem is, Pick your poison is very bad against Cookbook because they just make a food token and sacrifice that. And so if they have a Cookbook in play, you're not going to get it. They're also not playing Urza Saga. I would not expect. Is this definitely an iteration deck without Bobble? I might be tempted to go consider something. You would basically never, I think, choose to play like consider over iteration. They kind of don't occupy the same slot. One is a card advantage spell, and one is a cantrip. That being said, you don't have to play. You do not have to play iteration in this deck. I think it's a fine include, and I'm like pretty happy with it, especially with like more pitch spells in the list. But yeah, I agree. You don't have to register it. There's a chance Memory Deluge is better, but I don't think it is. Look at Jeskai Cowboy deck. Why opt for the Ragavans over the Ephemerate Solitude package? Well, it's just a different build of the deck. If you're going to play red, I think you should be playing Ragavan in like a Stoneforge Cryptic Coat deck. But I did think that build was worse than the blue-white Solitude Ephemerate build. Maybe you could be more of a Wall of Omens Ephemerate deck, but with like splashing for Flame of Anor. A lot of Aswell players make the mistake of deploying her too early in the empty board. I agree, but in this matchup, I'm like just not going to have a lot of creatures in play in general. Little Blazing Root Walla, huh? Snap Bolt, Tidebinder up. What has to be cutting Lorien? Too many tap lands. I think I'm playing 3 Surveil lands. I don't want to play any Lorien Revealeds. The Surveil lands are really, really good in this deck. You could play some number. Lorien Revealed is a fine card, but it's just too many tap lands. What do you think about the new Emrakul? It seems kind of busty given the fact that it can steal opponent's creatures as cast trigger at instant speed. Yeah, I think the new Emrakul is very, very good. I think it's going to be more of an Eldrazi Temple card than it is going to be a Tron card, but I think the card is very strong. Opponent's kind of like this healing salve deck where they use their cookbooks to generate healing salves every turn. My Wizards decks looks mad close to this. I'm not surprised. I think most Wizard lists look pretty close to this. This is an archetype of Modern. Just kind of going back to the basics today. The new Emrakul is very hard to remove. Yeah, yes. I think the new Emrakul is very good. I'm a big believer in that card, especially because Eldrazi Temple makes it, each temple basically makes it cost 1 less. Oh no. Oh no, opponent. I was a little bit worried about an Ox of Agonis, but 4 or 5 mana, 4/4 artifact creature. Yeah, we have a Subtlety and a Force, so we can try to find a land here. Does Eldrazi, does Temple reduce the madness? Yeah, Ilugan reduces the cost. Temple doesn't reduce the madness, but pays 2 mana for the madness. So it's like, reducing is not the correct word, probably, but it makes it cost 1. It taps for 2. Poor opponent. Every turn they draw a healing salve, and I'm only attacking for 2 every turn. Do you think the current Eldrazi are good enough for the hypothetical Emrakul deck? There's just gonna be a lot of builds. Like, you're gonna play, like, there's gonna be some new Eldrazi. There's already a 2-mana 2/2 that discounts your Eldrazi that are not Emrakul. I can't remember if it discounts 7 or less or 7 or more, but also lords them. Obviously, like a 2-mana lord is not that interesting in general, but because it's an Eldrazi, it's basically a 1-mana lord. So like, it is going to be kind of interesting to see like what other Eldrazi exist. We already know that there is like a sub theme, which is kind of interesting, kind of scary. We'll see. Okay, they return here. I don't know. I'll just let this happen. Discount 7 or more. Okay, and does it make the madness on Emrakul cost 1 less? Because I can't remember if I think it just reduces the generic mana, right? Will Oopsal Emrakul be an archetype? Probably not. I think you'll be building around like any single Emrakul at a time, probably. Okay, so it does not reduce the madness, which is probably good. The Jangles, 17 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Opponent is fighting. I'm kind of like a hater of Asmo in the Hollow One deck. I just feel like you have so many games like this. Where like, okay, I just drawn all cookbooks, and I don't know. It's probably better in the deck now that NT exists. NT's probably a good argument for it. Bolt, so I don't have to go to discard. 1 damage short of Snap Bolt, finishing him off. That old Jace things might be popping off. I mean, they'd have a lot of food tokens, and they'd still just not be able to win. Well, anybody ever Stern Scolding an Ox of Agonis? This is my first time, I think. Brutal. On arena. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Yeah, I did suggest door toughness. Okay, lightning bolts. Casual 30-minute match 1, 2 games against Hollow One. Still playing. A beautiful attack with 3 Snapcasters for the win. Okay, let's think. Pretty borderline hand. Got a Surveil land and a Preordain. Let's give it a go. Heath, no Giganta. Oof, Thundering Falls. Live by the Surveil, die by the Surveil. Look, we just drew a land, easy peasy. Charmer Goofy, 14 months. Tiger with the 24. Thank you. Welcome back. Yeah, I guess 4-color Omnath is kind of back in the leagues, huh? Definitely scared of these Ren and 6s. My bad match with the deck? I'm not sure. I mostly just kind of feel somewhat comfortable in every matchup, and just like most control decks, just feel somewhat close almost everywhere. I'm going to use a Flame Slash on that. Maybe not this turn. Graveyard another iteration. Let's try to hit a land potentially, but if we don't... Yeah, I think I'll just go Shields down for a turn, which isn't a great strategy probably, but pretty behind. Tough match to lose the die roll. Or, you know, Ren and 6 is just very hard card to lose the die roll against with these kind of decks. Is Mutavault a trap in these kind of decks? I think it's pretty unnecessary, yeah. It's okay, but it's pretty bad in like your Counterspell, Flame, Expressive Iteration deck. I just think you just play 4 Tidebinders instead, and you're fine. Yeah, we'll pick your poisons post board. So I'm not entirely sure what they're doing over there. Hopefully just plays another Scion. It's very getting our fun raveled. Lightning Bolt would be good. We need more creatures to make Cryptic Coat viable. You can't really play Cryptic Coat, I think, without Stoneforge Mystic. But it is very good with Stoneforge Mystic. We'll definitely bring in the Pick Your Poisons post board. I want to see like a little bit more of their list before I decide on Force of Negation. Like, I don't know if they're just playing. They may not even have Leyline in their deck. Wow. Okay, let's go to game 2. Bring in the forces, bring in the Pick Your Poisons. Let's keep the Flame Slashes in. Keep like 1 Lightning Bolt in. Maybe we don't want the Flame Slashes. We have Flame of Anor and Pick Your Poison for Scion. Flame of Anor kills Omnath. Just play 1 Bolt. No, do not. They just are going to have too much removal to play Magus against. And then they also probably have Leyline in their deck, so like the moons are just not that effective against Leyline. Also, when you're bringing in Pick Your Poison, like it's kind of awkward if your sideboard plans in general involve both Pick Your Poison and a moon effect. I think it's okay against Titan. But like in these kind of matchups, like you don't want to be necessarily like bringing in uncastables if you're really trying to moon them. When people are excited for Kazuma in Modern. Is that the blue-green Planeswalker? I remember there's like one chatter who loves that card. It's pretty bad, I agree. Okay, this is a matchup where you can definitely just keep double Tidebinder on the play like this. Keep that too. Oh, the landfall vehicle. Yeah, I 5-0'd a league with her, but she was really bad. Remember, I 5-0'd off stream and was like, I don't want to do this, but it has to be done. The old main phase fetch, pass. Play around my Tidebinder. Second Valakut, yikes. Troll, 13 months, think welcome back. Yeah, I played 1 or 2 Surveil lands in the Jeskai Wizards deck. I was thinking about playing that today. Didn't end up updating the list or anything. We're playing this 4-color. This is like a 4-color Dryad Valakut hybrid deck that's been kind of going around. Well, G fucking G, dude. I'll withdraw. Still gonna get blasted for a ton that turn. Grief pitched Thoughtseize with a Flooded Strand up. So we're up against Espergorios, that's gonna scam me out of the game. Max for 10, thank you, welcome back. Top deck. Let's go. Just that easy. Top deck's usually good against Grief Scam. And they kept a 1-lander. Seems okay to keep. Against the Goryo's deck. If they don't have Ephemerate, I'm just okay with this. And if they do have Ephemerate, I'm gonna Tidebind the second trigger, I think. To make sure that they have it. They still get to rebound though. A little bit awkward. So I guess I Otawara the Grief. So I can keep my Spell Snare, which is a great card in the matchup. Why not Spell Pierce it instead? I don't have a Spell Pierce, I have a Spell Snare. Was Tidebinder the right take? No, Force of Negation was the right take, because I just forced the Ephemerate and then get a 2-for-1. Puts a card on top. Puts a card on top, but then doesn't play a land for turns. Kind of surprising. Usually like to counter Mending. Discards 2 Atraxas. We might as well just let this go. I didn't. I'm not playing around 3rd Ephemerate. Although I am because of the bolts, but no. I guess countering was just better too because I'm just giving them info about the hand for no reason. Yeah, that was bad, but I don't think this game will end up making a huge difference. and because we let the Grief resolve, we get to Grief Bug, draw a Counterspell. So now I could counter the Mending flashback so that I just have lethal next. Oh. Another Mending from hand. They've got 1 card. Pretty tough to lose if I do this, despite this not being that good. People keep just casting. I almost always flashback mending if my play is mending from hand and I have like 2 cards. I have the option to mending from hand or mending from the yard. I almost always just mending from the yard and then discard the other mending. I've been noticing a lot of people not doing that. I don't know if people just have different philosophies or what the plan is. I'm gonna cut the. We're gonna bring in the Scoldings and the Forces. I may bring in Magus in this matchup, despite them having Solitudes. Look, these Flame of Anors are not great. I think we still probably have to play a couple. Could they do without shocking? They should have been able to get an island. Yeah. Maybe. They had I don't think they had milled the island. We'll play 2 of the 3 flames. Looks like we're pretty good in this matchup. The Scolding is so good against Gorios, and so that's why I've been playing 3 in most of my blue sideboards lately, where you just have Scolding being very good against Gorios and Yogg, and a lot of incidental damage against decks like Scales and Hammer. If we play against Hammer some. Great sideboard card. This looks almost exactly like the list of chapter for the West Camp band. Yeah, I know. It's kind of a simple list. Some people have said this. I agree. I have not reinvented the wheel here. Just kind of going back to the basics. Also, Footfalls didn't get banned. But yeah, just kind of playing a somewhat stock, but I think underplayed shell. Kind of Force of Negation. What are the best decks against Yogg? Still Rhinos, funny enough. I'm gonna ice them here. There's a few. Is Spell Snare spread cope? It's just not good in the meta game. If that's what you mean by cope, it's not very good. Yeah, I think. I should maybe force this, because I know they have a force, so if they discard Atraxa, I'm going to maybe have a hard time keeping up. Kind of want to snap Preordain, but I think I'm going to just try to Tidebind the Strand. Mill Flash in the Pan. I mean, the deck is just not good, you know. I don't know why it was so popular for that one day. I feel like it was some kind of weird variance that we played against it so much, but Mill is still not a good deck. It's not a deck I would recommend to anybody. Keeps a card on top, then evokes Grief. Subtlety. The deck I would recommend for someone getting to Modern. You know, I get this question a lot. Modern is, you know, in a big way like a format of self-expression, and it's a format of you know, finding something that you kind of identify with and embracing that. I could Tidebinder the ETB, but then they get the rebound. I think I'll just Counterspell, and I could Force of Negation to Teferi if they have Teferi. And so I don't want to take that away from you. So I really strongly encourage you spending time trying to figure out for yourself like what it is that you really identify with in Modern. Like watch the stream, watch a lot of content. And just try to figure out what it is that you like, rather than try to just tell me something, you know. Just find something that looks cool and interesting. And I would also recommend not trying to play something that's like explicitly easy. I think whenever you're getting into Modern, it's always going to be kind of tough at first, and I recommend trying to just have fun rather than try to play a simple deck. I'm gonna ice the Archaeologist into turn, get in for 5. Yeah, maybe we'll be down for some prowess. Living In was always the worst matchup. Do you feel like the decks you play in Super worth picking up in Modern? I think in general, yeah. Not every single one, of course, and you know, again, it's something you gotta kind of third ephemerate. Determine for yourself, of course. They could have ephemerate a response to the ice, though, so they just kind of let me draw a free card, and I have Magus, so I guess I can't be too upset. I tend to think so. That's kind of in a big way, the goal of the stream is to like brew and tune and try to find some cool things to show off, so you can take the decks and do what you want with them, which, you know, a lot of times, of course, is getting into Modern with them. Rhino's a bad matchup for Prowess too. I think it's like not as bad, but I agree, not a favorable one. Yeah, let's keep this Scolding on top, because like their main out to this is going to be Solitude, so if they don't have it now, we get to like save the Scolding. Yeah, Flusterstorm in the hand. They also mill their basic islands, so the Flusterstorm unlikely to be castable until this Magus gets off the field. Rhino's down to 0.3% of the meta over 7 days. I think it'll come back up. I think the Domain Rhinos deck is still pretty good. It won't be back to where it was. Creeping Chill in a Surveil deck. I mean, not really. Against Kihira on the draw, let's mulligan this hand. 6 on the draw. I think we're kind of forced to keep. So tough to multiply. Force of Negation is a really key card to have game 1. We have the Surveil land. If we can, surveil into one land, we can ice. Hopefully draw land number 3, and then we're cooking. Dirty Shoes, 13 months. Thank you. Welcome back. They look at Hibernation as a sideboard card. It's really high variance. I think it was a more reasonable sideboard card when Rhinos was more represented in the metagame, where like just bouncing all the Rhinos was pretty reasonable. Come on, let's go. Thank you, Surveil Lands. Should it really be anything that they're tapping out for that I'm super scared of for 3 mana, so I think I can just go ahead and ice them here. Pinta Grandpa, thank you for the good username. Thank you for the tier 1. Thanks again, Dirty Shoes. Alright, land. Come on, Preordain. Do your job. Let's go. Is an Equity Truth better than Hibernation? The idea is that Hibernation bounces all of your opponent's permanents if they have Leyline of the Guild Pact in play, which is a fun idea. So I'm going to play Teferi with Counterspell up. Then we get to Force. How is this Counterspell taking so long? What's happening here? Feeling the mulligan for sure. Is Alter Phoenix could be the Izzet combo deck looks sweet. I agree that it looks sweet. We were trying to figure out a build of that deck that was just self mill, and then it wins by 4 Creeping Chills, 4 Lava Darts, and Arclight Phoenix. The darts to like flash back the Phoenixes. I'm not really sure how competitive something like that would be or could be, but I was kind of mewing over our Alter Phoenix adventures. I think the problem is like your overall mana value is still kind of low, and it's kind of awkward that you're like milling over Creeping Chill and you want to exile it to Creeping Chill them, and then you also kind of need to use it for collect evidence. We'll figure it out one day. So out of Surveil lands already. Would one Magnetic Sinkhole over Fire Ice be reasonable? Maybe 2 Delve spells too many, having Acid Resolve to Teferi. Yeah, maybe there's more Teferis at the moment. Kind of has felt that way. Reveal another Narset. Let me see what we draw. I'm not going to use the Bolt yet. Yeah, let's go to game 2. Okay, so bring in the Forces. We'll bring in the Pick Your Poisons. Down to 1 Bolt. Kind of want to play 2 against the Narset deck. Not sure. I still kind of want to choose to be on the draw. Let's play 2 Pick Your Poison, 2 Bolt. Yeah, I wouldn't bring in Magus against blue-white. They can play around it pretty well. They have a lot more removal for it than other decks do. Maybe not a ton, but I usually don't like to bring it in. If I was kind of desperate, I would, but I'm not feeling that desperate. I'm gonna kind of cheeky choose the draw here. It's like, I like to do it in games where, like, there's just, like, no 2-mana card that my opponent can tap out for that really punishes me. Like, there's no Rin and 6. And, like, card advantage matters a ton, which is just almost always control mirrors. What's up?
My very important meeting went really well.
That's great. I'm happy for you, sweetie.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Railland's so good. And that was in what was it, in Chicago. I chose to be on the draw in the standard blue-white mirror. And I felt pretty good about it too. It's just like there's no 2-mana card you really have to worry about resolving to like losing to, like you can't counter. And like one thing that I've always really liked about choosing to be on the draw in standard control mirrors is that if you mulligan on the play in a standard control mirror, it's so difficult to win. But if you're on the draw, it's okay. This is like just a really common thread, and I think all like control mirrors in standard across the years in my experience. And my control opponent went on and on and on about how bad I was for choosing to be on the draw. It was very funny. They're like it's incredibly sus, but I respect it. And like, it's 2024, man. You really shouldn't be choosing to be on the draw. What if I cast Dinnick on turn 2? I thought that was so funny. He's like, what if you cast Dinnick? I'm just gonna lose to Dinnick on turn 2 in the mirror. Went on and on and on. And he also like lost the game because he mulliganed on the play, which I thought was really funny. Is that he really didn't realize he lost because he mulliganed on the play, and I chose to be on the draw. But he went on and on and on, and it was just, and I was like, so it sounds like you don't respect it, because he kept going, but I respect it. So like, it sounds like you don't respect it. And he's like, yeah. It was just so funny. It was so funny. Maybe I'm not supposed to cast this because my opponent's going to discard. I think I feel somewhat okay about it. I think this one will not. A new player choose a draw while playing Boris can focus standard. Yeah, I really only recommend it in like specific control mirrors, but I'm a believer. Like, I like that it's probably fine to be on the draw in this matchup. I think it's also like still very close too. It's not like this decision point is like make or breaking things. Yeah, always tough to be the one missing land drops, huh? It's got a lot of good threats in this matchup. Good draw. So many Force of Negations. Okay, they pitched another Stern Scolding. Yeah, sealed, sometimes you want to choose the draw. I feel like I can't remember the last time I felt like that was like really correct in sealed, but I haven't been playing as much sealed. I've been doing pretty well in my limited events lately though. I got top 8'd that big. Sealed super qualifier recently. His fourth play, lost in my win. I keep losing. I keep losing my win and ends of my like sealed qualifiers. I lost in the finals of PTQ in Minneapolis. I lost in the top 4 of the sealed PTQ or RCQ I played a couple days ago. Lost in the top 8 of the top 4 qualifying big super online sealed one. Just a lot of close calls. Okay, go Snapcaster, go. Way ahead on lands. Pretty ahead on cards too. Well, I guess effectively because of the I have 4 cards in hand, ahead on board, but my actual cards are not that good. I'm actually now out of fetchables. But I'm poking in for 1. Yeah, I agree. It's like matchup dependent and sealed. Did I enjoy standard? Yeah, standard was fun. Also, I'll say this game, I'm like so incredibly. I was so incredibly rewarded for being on the draw. It may end up being the difference between a game win and game loss. But I don't think my opponent will choose to draw game 3, but we'll see. Oof. Could let this go. I think it's okay to force back here, not let them have their Lightning Helix machine. Somewhat close. Yeah, it just trades with Counterspell. That's fine. So they have no cards in their hand. I have maybe missed sideboard with this many pick your poisons, but against a 1-ring Leyline deck, it feels okay to have at least 2. I have two exactly. Snapcaster Mage off the top would be nice. Preordain into Snapcaster. Or Iteration. Let's go. Hand, bottom, top. For exile. Hard to feel like it's wrong, just wrong to keep the Tidebinder. I think it's likely just better enough than the average draw to keep it here. One thing I don't love is that when they cast Kihira here, I'm supposed to Subtlety, but I just don't have this logic knot up. I don't really know what I can do about that. They conceded? Let's go, dude. That was an early concession. Okay, let's go down to 1. Pick your poison. Maybe I should have 1 Scolding. Over the let's play 1 Stern Scolding. It'll just like very likely counter Solitude at some point or Kihira, I guess. So will they choose to be on the play or the draw? They chose to play first, which I'm happy with. I prefer to be on the draw. I'm like, look, I just like, if I was on the play here, the game would just be over. Game will literally just be over. Game is maybe still over. Unfortunately. Game is maybe still over. They just have to keep the card draw spells on the Molda 5 here. No Magus to kill, Domain for Leyline. No, not against blue-white control. They just can play around it too easy, have too much removal. Come on, Surveil lands. The draw, baby. It's all about the draw. But if there's 0 rings, yeah, they could be 0 rings. Yeah, but their ley lines also suck in this matchup. Like, there's a good chance they have 0 post board against me. King of Poners, 13 months. Thank you, welcome back. How do you feel in this newish meta? I've been having fun. It's kind of, can't really say a ton more than that without like no tournaments played and things. People are like kind of largely playing their pet decks, and it's me. I'm people. Well, I guess I lose if I tap out for iteration, probably. So let's hope to draw a land and start using these Flame of Anors to hit land drops. Step 1. Will I Tidebind a Flooded Strand? The problem is they're just like, going to be able to counter back most of the time. Untap and slam something. They grab their Rogran Triumph, which would imply that they have a binding. Okay, it's fine. Kind of scary that they're throwing Dovin's Veto like that. I guess I should probably iterate here. Okay. So really good news that they just don't have threat plus counterspell here. We could draw land. Again, I know that's kind of the motto of the matchup. I'll graveyard the Logic Knot, despite it being not the worst card to draw here. Try to iterate again. Nice. Scoop him up, 28 months. Thank you, welcome back. Well, unfortunately for me, they have Ring instead of a Plains. They don't have a counterspell? Let's go, dude. How do they not have a counterspell there? It's so big for me. If they didn't have another counterspell and they just cast the Dovin's Veto like that. That was probably wrong, right? So they just drew this. They vetoed like an end of turn draw 2 off of Flame of Anor. I'm feeling pretty good about the number 3 Surveil lands in these like slower blue decks lately. Besides the Surveil combo deck, which I think you want to play 4 of. Keeping that one for sure. You basically always want one more, so about 4. I've been feeling very good. Not hearing me just say you basically. I've been feeling very good about 3. I know we're playing a control mirror right now, where obviously you would want 4, but I've been feeling very good about 3. Thought they might have had a Scolding. Thankfully, they did not. One more island in the deck. Yeah, one in the board for control. Now you're thinking with portals. I think I'm just gonna bolt them. So I can go like Scolding this end of turn Solitude and still keep up Snap Flame. I guess Snap Flame's not that important, or Tidebinder plus Counterspell. Pretty good shape, huh? Uh-oh. Maybe gonna win this game with a Snap Bolt. We'll see. I guess, I don't know. I only have one fetchable left. The Manamo's really good here. Should I evoke this Subtlety? Kind of feels like I should. I honestly almost want to just Snap Bolt. Like, they get to draw so many cards. Yes, Snap Bolt is still lethal. I think I'm not like really using this Tidebinder in anything else, and like this is still lethal. And like just letting them draw 2 instead of drawing 5 is probably fine. But also if they just trading with a counterspell is also likely fine. So really what it is, like, do I think my opponent has Supreme Verdict in their deck right now? Because they're not that likely to be. I guess the problem with Snap Bolting is maybe another ring they're already used to. I'm gonna Snap Bolt now, so they have a lower chance of countering this. No shot they kept it in. They might have one in. They might have one in. I agree, it's not the most likely. Plus the Snap counters with the counters here, the 3-2 in play and stop the draw. Yeah, maybe that was better. Maybe that was better. Solve lethal in play. Give him a lot less cards. Looking pretty good though. Because now they have to kill 2 things here to survive. Maybe they can just do that. Drew a land. Guess we probably lose. Yeah, maybe Snap Counterspell is the winning line. They choose Leyline Binding. Yeah, out of fetchables. I mean, casting Preordain is a good sign for me. So now they need to find Teferi. Oh, I guess they can just go Landering. 11 cards in their hand. Protection from everything. And the problem with top deck Snapcaster is like they just have counter magic, you know. They also have the Gaia Reach. Okay, tough stuff. I think I messed up by being so like laser focused on the Snap Bolt instead of the Snap Counterspell. Just give them too many cards. Let's keep Party's leading on Thundering Falls. Just coffers? Opponent, you can't say please don't kill me, then Shadow doubt me on turn 2. What is happening? Second main phase, Cycle Troll. Third, fourth, Snow-Covered Swamp. Maybe I should have fetched main phase, huh? I think I'll just not cast Flame of Anor end of turn, though. Shadow Doubt's really good. Probably just doesn't see enough play. Could be good in this deck. Well, you already have the Tidebinders. Alright, you stop the fetch, I'll stop a fetch. All's fair, right? Think about second Shadow of Doubt. I don't think I'm gonna really think too hard about it. Okay, I'm not very worried about Karn. Just gonna attack it or bolt it and counter whatever they get. Don't need to maybe Flame of Anor if they don't get Ring. Don't need to Force of Negation. They did get the One Ring, which is not too surprising. They also don't have another land to play. What do you think is the best part of list? Maybe with Preordains and Force like you played? I played a list recently that was playing more lands and playing... Still playing Force of Negations, but just playing more lands because you have the Surveil lands. I think with the Surveil lands, you don't really want to play Force that bad. You could, though. Okay, I'll logic. If they have double Bowmaster, we get kind of got, but I'm going to draw 2. I guess I get Subtlety, second Bowmaster. They have no Bowmasters, which is good news. Yeah, but I like that build. I think like especially with Violent Outburst gone, like one thing Gorya's gets to do is be like the Force of Negation combo deck, which I think is really nice. And I want to change the list I had played most recently a little bit. I didn't like Push Pull that much. I think I would just kind of not play Push Pull, and I want at least one Touch the Spirit Realm. I don't think I want to play 2, and then I'm not sure if I want to play like one Thoughtseize, one Prismatic Ending. I think one main deck Prismatic Ending. Why Fire Ice is the ice part used? Yeah, Fire Ice is, in my opinion, a modern staple. I think it's an incredibly good card, and it's really I think important in this deck to have like a clean answer to Orcish Bowmaster, where the card is like really good against you, but Fire Ice just like cleans it up really well. And also like Ice is just kind of always good on turn 2. Just cycles in the late game too. It's a great card. Lane, 3 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Is touch better than Cloud Shift? I like that it gets rid of Dothy Voidwalker. It's also like, you know, different card type or whatever, which doesn't matter that much. There's also the Momentary Blink. That card might also be better than that card might be correct in the flex spot. I can't remember where I saw it first. But you can mill it over with Archaeologist, which is like really sick. You can loot it away for value. I think Momentary Blink might be the right card in the flex spot. Monkey Butler's 11 months. Rat Poison with the 10. Thank you. Welcome back. Momentary Blink is non-legend. Is it? That's so much worse. Okay, it isn't. Okay, it isn't. Awesome. Just kidding. Okay, good joke. Alright, let's run on the Subtlety. Opponent's hand is certainly full of removal, right? So, like, why haven't they removed this? Urborg giving me lands when I'm almost out of fetchables is nice. Oh yeah, they still have that ring in their hand. I don't know, dude. Obviously, they know I've got a lot of counter spells. They just have to have more removal. I think I just don't need to save the subtlety. I can like counter removal spell in the Tidebinder, and it's kind of the same. I do want to just kind of keep at least one creature in play here if I can. Could just hardcast Force there pretty safely. Yeah, maybe they're waiting for a Thoughtseize. So tough for them to just wait forever, because I just have so much card selection and card draw. Like, way more than them. Alright, I have Sorcery Speed, 3 mana, 3/2. Not even good enough for limited, good enough for this high power constructed Game of Modern, though. They look at Murktide. Yeah, I had some problems with Murktide. It's kind of hard to articulate all of them, I guess. Main deck Kozilek? It's like kind of high on the curve. It's bad against Yawgmoth. I'm mostly just playing Subtlety over those slots, so I just have more interaction while also having a couple extra creatures for win cons. Yeah, somebody's also been playing against Mill, huh? Come down to 8 life. Second coffers would be kind of scary. think stock Murktide's gradual decline to playing 0 Archmage's Charm is only correct because of meta changes, or in hindsight would have always been best to play 1-2 sim counters at image 2 launch? I don't know. Hard to say. Oh no, fuck, they have Kozilek in their deck. I was like, I just counter whatever they get. Fuck. Maybe it's okay, like, I just make them spend all their extra mana there, and like, I counter the Kozilek, I still have a Force of Negation up, and then I'll get them down to 2, and eventually I'll bolt them. So I think I want I'll be okay with them drawing the Kozilek here. Funny enough. I still have 6 mana, though. Can't believe I have this many counter spells. They don't have Revolt for Fatal Push either. Wait, they're baiting me for a bigger march? Okay, just another X equals 3. 5 cards in their hand. Game is definitely taking a turn for the worse. My opponent down to 8 life. We just draw 2 before they untap with Bowmasters. Basically, I have 5 points of burn. Just pass. Is him too powerful for modern? It would. I think him is a very unfun card in my opinion, and I think it would also. It would not be a card that would really make games better. Let's let the ring go. I think. Just try to burn my opponent out. I guess I could just fire in response to the trigger instead of snap counterspell up if there's something I have to counter, like another march. Use the mana now. Am I gonna win this game where I put a hardcast Kozilek twice and like the game continues for like 5 more turns? Maybe the hardcast Kozilek thrice. Okay. Don't care about that very much. Could stab Flame of Anor, kill the troll. And draw 2. Let's not. I'm low on red mana now. I feel like you don't ever let ring go, IDK. Why? Why do you think that? Like, my opponent's so ahead on cards already. I'm only winning this game by burning them out. The ring even like contributes to that plan. I can draw Fire Ice or Lightning Bolt or Snapcaster. Just have a hard only lose to another March, which they only have 1 left. Oh, did they shuffle? I guess they have 2 in the deck. Guess I shouldn't have played the land yet. It doesn't matter a ton. So now, hand bottom, exile. Yeah, that's not gonna be able to burn him out here. Oh, fuck. This is my hand now? Such an awkward hand to have. Okay. Another Kozilek. Gross. Wait, 2 Takudumas here? Just can't cast them. So my opponent's going to cast Kozilek for the 3rd time this game. And they have field, so I can only play 1 red spell next turn. Gains 11 life. Let's go to game 2. Cool game. Could maybe beat the first 2 Kozileks. It's always the third Kozilek that gets you, huh? Okay, so let's bring in Force over Flame Slash, I think, and just click Submit. I guess they're a Bowmaster deck. Like, let's play at least one spell, Stern Scolding. I could put 3 bolts is probably a good number. Yeah, they fielded all my other red sources. I could not cast Lightning Bolt. I had no way to make red mana. How do they bargain Besiege? See, the Coffers players cope a little bit, thinking that they can never bargain Besiege. They can sack Orc Army tokens though, and then they can sack a ring to get a second ring, but it's pretty bad. Yeah, Magus to give us more red mana. I don't think I had Force of Negation in hand. I didn't have Force of Negation in hand for March. Oh, you can't Snapcaster Force of Negation and pitch it. I guess that's what you're asking. That doesn't work. Magus is worth it. Though they have way too much removal for Magus. Like, Magus is almost only for Tron and Titan, y'all. I'm not out here trying to play Magus against the March and Shieldred's Edict deck. That just plays a million basic swamps anyways. And mostly curves out at 4. Any decks where you want to bring in Magus, pick your poison, can't because of non-bow potential. I do bring in both against Titan. I think it's fine to bring in both against Titan because Magus, like, they just don't function under a Magus at all. Yeah. Blood Moon is better against them, but it's still not even. It's probably better against this opponent who has Kozilek in their deck, but just ain't that good. Sorry, I forgot they're also playing the Shadow of Doubt. Didn't get got this time. No counterspells yet. They don't have enchantment hate. This opponent's playing Invoke Despair actually, but Blood Moon is not good against Coffers because they just mostly curve out at 4. This build's a little bit bigger than the average list, but they mostly just curve out at 4, and they have a ton of swamps in the deck and Troll to find the swamps, and so they can just still cast all their spells, and you spend 3 mana to kind of just like stop them double spelling, which is not super good. I just realized I have drawn both basic islands in this matchup, which is just always so punishing. Or two of my 3 basic islands. Counterspell a little too deep, maybe. That's okay, Roy. I'm down to talk about it, Okay, opponent missing a land drop. Huge. Totally bails us out. Yeah, actually they decided to play their land drop in their second main phase. And then field me. And then shuffle away the counterspell that I needed to draw. Oh wait, sorry, I said no. Okay, right. It's not a Field of Ruin that forces the shuffle. That's a little bit better then. So I kind of think my opponent has Bowmasters, so I'm gonna cast this Flame of Anor to draw 2, then bolt the Bowmaster, and I won't have to discard if that's the case. It won't let me keep Tidebinder plus Counterspell up, but I think I'm just gonna bolt my opponent main phase. Try to get the Surveil land, leave with the Tidebinder. Could have also played the Preordain. People maxing out on Wormcoil and Tron because of Rhinos, or because of Ring O-Stone. Trying to finalize the list for Hunter Burton. I don't know. It's a good question. Well, we can try to Tidebind this activation. They haven't hit their land drop yet, so this is maybe just main phase it to try to hit it. I play 3 Surveil lands. I feel pretty good about that number. You could play 4. I'd be closer to playing 4 than playing 2. Yeah, all this does seem is probably pretty sick in Tron over the Wormcoils, where if they have Leyline of the Guild Pact, then you just Oh, come on. Alright, let's just let this go. Got plenty of mana. Weird game. Oh, the fourth Thrilland is in the yard. Forgot that they already fielded one. Old version didn't have an EI, I thought mostly because no bobble. I'm assuming what makes it work in this version. I mean, the thing about this deck is there's like 20, 15, maybe less than 20, but there's a lot of stuff you can play at the flex spot. I mostly just feel like we needed more card advantage, and I think Iteration is best in slot. It's a little bit slower. It's not as good in this deck as it is in Murktide, with a higher mana curve. I think is still a pretty nice card to play. I've been liking them. Legend rules their Urborg to main phase Edict my Tidebinder before doing anything else. Resolves. Then passes? Why did you Legend rule your Urborg, brother? I'm not going to use the fire here. Kind of want to save it to clean up Bowmasters. Maybe hold up Counterspell, Snap, Counterspell. Don't think I need to use this Preordain yet. 1/2 Ugin that kind of covers the same thing as Dust. Yeah, it is an extra mana. Speaking of Dust, my opponent is casting Clean here, which is pretty good. Can't really snap Flame in response. So let's let it go. Should have fielded Ruin's pretty annoying. I think at this point I just cycle the ice. Still have another Steam Vents in the deck. So before my opponent has Cling to Dust available, let's snap Iteration. Got 5 cards left in their hand over there. Don't hit a land, which kind of stinks. Guess I can hold up Force, though, if I Preordain. It should be okay. I'll keep... I guess I'm keeping one Tidebinder, and then so I don't have to discard just main phasing a Bolt on them. I don't think I really need that second Tidebinder. Wouldn't, like, hate the second Tidebinder. It's been such a weird game. I think I could have played better. And it continues to miss land drops. I almost feel like they're not playing Bowmaster. We haven't seen one in like 70 cards or something. Maybe they're the side. I don't know. Bowmaster's not that good of a sideboard card. Gotta save Tidebinder for more fields, I think. Are we ahead? Then cast it. Although I guess I could counter the draw 4. I know a few Comforts players that think Bowmaster is the worst card in the deck. It might be. It might be the worst card in the deck. Takanuma? Yeah, let's exile this Cling to Dust. Kind of stinks. Maybe I should have shocked. Pulled a double counterspell here. Doesn't feel super likely to be that necessary. Okay, let's let this go. But it keeps like main phase 1, then like doing stuff main phase 2. Voidwalker over Bowmaster. I mean, I think you could just play neither and just play like more Damnations too. definitely weird. But it totally has Kozilek and just waiting for coffers like they did game 1. It's also game 2 and they have like 10 minutes on the clock. Gandalf Sanction. Ugh, I have killed some people with Gandalf Sanction. I think the card's not that good, but very cool. I guess I also only have 22 cards left in my deck. Plays Takenuma. It's gonna be hard to like burn them out with bolts and stuff because of the marches. Very aggressive fire. I think I feel okay about it. Just don't want to go to discard. You zap them over the course of the game. I almost feel like I can't even afford to cast ice because I just need the damage for the burn. Glad that they used the field. Well, this is maybe Kozilek. Bait for Kozilek. Okay. Oh, X equals 3 is kind of an interesting number to choose there too. I don't know. I feel like we have to let that we have to let that one go. "17 cards in my library. 4 counterspells in my hands. My opponent has 7 cards in their hand too. Such a cool back and forth this game. Yeah, Hall isn't really getting it done in these matchups because of the 8 fields, unfortunately. How many subtleties do we have left? Both of them? Answered my question. Okay, opponent down to 9. Got some permission in my hand. Opponent's got 6 cards though. They finally coffers. They obviously cast Kozilek. Oh, did they not have Kozilek? Okay, this time I will counter the Beseech. Learned my lesson. Oh, fuck! Okay. Kozilek's pretty good against Subtlety. Welcome to 2024. Seven cards in hand over there. I think I'm casting this. Okay. No, I mean, Blood Moon isn't good against most build of coffers. My opponent literally could just cast Kozilek at this point in the game. I don't know. Blood Moon is not good against most builds of coffers. Definitely better against this build than average build. Ice the coffers. Maybe. Three cards in their hand. What a game. Slugfest. Respond, cling to dust. Not enough to escape. Not even really sure what their hand can be that I beat. big top deck. So Snapcaster Ice is better than Snapcaster Fire, because I win if they don't have a removal spell also, and then I get a redraw. Let's go! So we find that 1 or 2 Hardcast Kozileks is a somewhat beatable number of Hardcast Kozileks. When it's more than that, it starts to come a little sus. Okay, I don't think they have Bowmasters in their deck. Let me cut the Scolding. Why not Flame? I guess Flame was better, sure. That's two more than 1, you're right. Yeah, Flame does turn on push, so there's a downside. Wait, has my opponent been on 66 cards this entire match? No, surely not. Mulligan to 6 on the play. Yeah, would Flame let them cling? I think they were still 1 card short. I'm gonna fetch on my turn and not get shadowed out it again. Okay, then let's keep both of these. I think I shock so that my Tidebinder's a little bit less obvious next turn. Should they put a pushes Snapcaster to get something? Yeah, that's true, yeah. Good point. They don't have a field or shadow data. This is probably maybe a little better to cast a flame. Need to have to keep the Tidebinder up too. Any advice on big events when RCQ SCG Philly? I mean, big events are all about, you know, trying to give yourself the best chance to win, preparing as much as you can, consulting with friends, and also enjoying yourself and meeting people, hanging out. It's just certainly the most important part is the gathering. It's hard to give like kind of blanket advice like as far as like competition goes for big tournaments, since I don't know what areas you might need improvement in, but in general, I encourage you to just do your best. Try to make as few mistakes as possible, which kind of sounds kind of simple, right? But there really isn't almost anything you could ever do besides play your best and try to make as few mistakes as possible. Playing your best includes trying to select the best deck to play as well, of course. Go up to 60 land for Surveil Land, yeah or nay? I'm thinking no. I think probably no Surveil Land in Green Red Storm. Same thing with like any prowess deck. Sure. The Dingster today. He's landing at like 2 hours, but he's gonna wait for PT bins to show up before coming over. So I don't know if I'm gonna co-stream with him tomorrow. I think I'm probably just gonna go up to the 100 Burton and not stream tomorrow. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, I think with 3 Tidebinders in hand, I need a little bit of a clock. Let's run this out. So it begins. Is selecting the best deck for tournament only about personal preference or playstyle? It's very specifically not about that. Is it speculative? Like, I feel like Nightfall is going to have an edge on the March 20. Yeah, it's ideally not speculative. You're not like, I think Nightfall is going to be good for this tournament. Ideally, you've done a lot of like prep and practice and like conversation and like, you know, if it's a pro tour, you're like working with a team to like determine what you feel like is the best deck. It's not. It, you know, in theory, shouldn't be like this kind of like theoretical speculative thing. It should be something that you've tried to figure out. Yeah, that Coffer's card, huh? Swingy. But it is not about. It is not. Yeah, it is very much not about. Yes, I like if it's your personal preference, you're just gonna play the same deck every single week, which is something a lot of people do, which is fine. But it's not like this is not a good strategy for a tournament. What sort of match win percentage would you want with a deck over several leagues to be like, yeah, this is working in the meta? It kind of depends. I'm not muted. It depends. I know it's not a great answer. So it's like what really interesting. Barcelona, for example, like our like match win percentage in leagues was like basically every player on the team was like above 60%. Internally, our win percentage, like playing against each other, is like, you know, it's just 50-50, much slower, much smaller. And so, like, leagues are not the best place to play test. Wait, I'm not muted? My mic is cutting out from time to time. Oh, no. Test. I unplugged, replugged. I know it's so many audio issues lately. But in general, your league win percentage is going to be much higher than your tournament win percentage. So I don't know like what league win percentage translates to an ideal tournament record, but it should be much higher. I'm hitting my desk. It's reading for a few seconds. Okay. So we 3-2'd our first league with this. I don't know if I want to play a second. It's pretty slow. I didn't. I thought I was going to want to play this all day. Someone was like, play Prowess. I want to. Let's take.